Y'all, so today we're going to be showcasing the newest character on the JP side of Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. That's going to be Megumi, right? So we're going to kind of talk about what his kit is, and then we'll kind of go into some stages and then run him where we're trying to maximize his damage. So we have this one, which is I'll surpass you at the start battle, increases own damage by 100%, 100%. This applied when the selected enemy is being break stats, which is obviously a big portion of the times. Is like you're gonna go aim for the break and then nuke the enemy, so it's not bad at all. It's really good. Then on top of that, at the start of the turn, reduces your cursed energy costs on skills when divine dogs are summoned, so -5 cursed energy per dog, so up to a total of 10 for your skills. And then this will practically be like 15, so it's not bad at all. And then obviously that doesn't cost cursed energy, so it's actually really good passive skill. Then you have the other passive skill, which is also pretty insane, where 55% chance of divine dogs launching a follow-up attack when any allies perform a skill or ultimate skill. Combo ultimates are excluded, and it targets one random enemy to launch a follow-up attack if it's an AoE attack that the enemies are hit with. It deals 100% range Jujutsu damage to the target enemy when White Divine Dog is summoned, and then an additional 100% range Jujutsu damage when Black Divine Dog is summoned, and increases the target enemy's Jujutsu damage received by 15%. So as you can see, he's kind of like a follow-up damage dealer, debuffer character. Of course, the follow-ups are just a nice additive touch, which is really nice because you pair up Megumi with Mai and then Nobara. Nobara is going to do tons of damage since she does damage based on how much debuffs you have on the enemy. You'll be able to get that easily between the three of those characters. It's pretty insane, right? So anyways, that's enough talking about Megumi. We've already talked about him enough. Let's actually go into the actual gameplay. So we're going to be doing chapter 14, and then we're going to be doing the extreme version 4, right? Of course, they're weak to green, so obviously we're going to be capitalizing on the advantage with Megumi. So let's actually get right into it. So like I said, we're going to be using two different teams, right? So we're going to be doing our standard Megumi team, where we're going to be trying to focus as much damage as possible with him. So we have our Megumi, Geto, Yuki, Yaga, and then Momo. So we're going to have Megumi with our non-standard recollection, because this is going to do tons of damage. It's the best damage dealing memory for Jujutsu-based characters. Then we are going to have Geto. Obviously, Geto is going to be debuffing the enemies and obviously providing good damage for green characters, which obviously Megumi is green. And then on top of that, we're going to have the free-to-play recollection, which gives 8% Jujutsu damage for our allies for 4 turns. So we get an okay buff for, you know, a big span of like multiple turns. You don't have to use Geto. You can use Gakuganji, but I'm going to be using Geto for this. Then we have Kaito here, Yuki. He's going to be there for survivability. And then, of course, we have the taunt recollection, where he can tank the first wave by taunting all the enemies. Then we have Yaga. Yaga obviously is going to be buffing the entire team. And then we have the domain expansion, Jogo memory, whatever. This is going to be able to increase our entire team's ultimate gauge charge amount for, I believe, 3 turns. So that's why we're going to be using it. It's not bad at all. This is definitely going to get all of our ults online very quickly. Then we're going to have Momo, and then the Kamo archery lesson. Obviously, Momo is one of the best debuffers, one of the best buffers in the game. So yeah, and then the archery will, you know, 20% damage increase for all allies for 2 turns and break damage. So not bad at all, not bad at all. So yeah, let's get right into it and then see what you can do. All right, so we're in the fight. It's going to be very simple from here on out, from wave 1 and 2. Wave 3 is where we're going to need specific things at specific times, but we should be able to get through it. So the first things first, we are going to be using our skill 2 here. That way we have our Divine Dogs out, and every time we do normal attacks, we will, you know, have a chance to follow up. Getsu is going to be using his normal attack throughout wave 1 and 2. Then for Yuki, we're going to be using the Cursed Energy Regen for our team whenever it's up. Then Yaga, he's going to use his memory to increase everybody's ult charge, and then just normal attack. Okay, not bad, not bad. So here on out, we're just going to be using normal attacks from everybody. Really not the best circumstances for us, but I think we could still manage to pull this through, even though we're getting a little bit raped here.
いつでもいけるぞ。冷静にね。しっかり。
最善の一手を常に考えろ。
いつでもいけるぞ。そろそろ今なら俺でも。
相手の動きを観察しろ。俺は進み続ける。
Okay, so now we're on the final wave. So the boss does have a revive mechanic, but what we're trying to do here is we're trying to break the boss before we actually nuke him. So first up, we're going to be using skill 2 throughout the remainder of the fight with Megumi, at least until we use our, our ult. So for Getzo, we're going to use turn 1, we're going to use his first skill, and then after that, we're going to be using his second skill for the remainder of the fight as well. So with Yuki, we are going to be using the memory and ulting. Now, we don't necessarily need the ult just yet, so actually I think I'll wait one turn because it only lasts for one time, so basically like your first initial hit. So I kind of want to have it on the next turn prior, after when I already debuffed the enemy with my Getzo. So we're just going to use the first the memory right here, and then we're just going to attack one time, and then we'll use the ult. Then with Yaga, we're going to be buffing. Okay, so he didn't die, but he will die next turn. So now what we're going to do is still keep spamming Megumi on skill 2. Then Getzo is going to use his skill 2, and we're going to be using the increase all damage from like your allies by 13% for four turns. Then we're going to use his ult here. Now we don't necessarily need it, but a little bit extra damage will help us break the enemy quicker on the next attacks. So that's why we're going to use it instead of the cursed energy regen, because we have plenty. And then we're going to be using Yaga's buff once again. We're not going to use the memory because we don't need it either at the moment, but we will use it when Momo pops up. Just to get in that little bit of extra damage so we could break the boss quicker. Alright, so now Yuki's dead. Now we have Momo in. So now that Momo's in, we are going to buff. This is going to last us 2 turns, so we are going to try to break the boss in one single go here. Alright, so the boss is broken now, which is the perfect scenario for us. So now we are going to actually nuke the boss. So now we're going to use our ult. We're going to buff one more time, so keep in mind buffs will proc before actually using the attacks, so we should be able to get an extra buff from Momo since it does last 2 turns, which is the perfect scenario for us. Same for Yaga. So we're going to have all these buffs and we are going to absolutely obliterate this boss. But keep in mind the boss is going to revive because he does have a resurrection, but we're here to see the numbers. As you can see, tons of damage. We got roughly about 10 million. Now, Megumi, he did a good amount, despite the fact that he is also a debuffer at the same time, not just a DPS. So he does have a good split. Although he won't have more damage than other characters that are like Hollow Purple Gojo, who will just straight off the bat have good amounts of damage, has even buffs. I feel like if they had gave Megumi a buff skill for his on his skill 3 instead of this one, he would be so much better. You don't really use the skill 3 too often. You're usually always spamming skill 2, so it's kind of very unfortunate that that skill kind of misses out. So here we're just going to keep attacking the boss until the boss is dead, and that's going to be the end of the run. Yep, and still did about 2 million, by the way, with his skill 2. Still does tons of damage, even though he doesn't do a crazy amount in like one singular nuke. Like as you saw, Getzo outperformed him in one singular hit. he still does a tremendous amount of damage because he will have his follow-ups as well, which will also get that extra form of damage. So if you start attacking with other characters on your team as well, while he has all the buffs up and you activated your memory, he's going to do even more damage aside from just his ult. So it's very split, and it sometimes it does become a little bit difficult, especially when you are using characters who are buffing. Since they're not attacking, you won't get the follow-ups from him, so he does lose a little bit out of there. So he's definitely powerful. Anyways, that's basically the showcase for Megumi. I was going to try a follow-up attack team, but basically how the follow-ups function in this game kind of overlap a little bit, and it kind of lowers the value of having a follow-up team, so we're not going to do that. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching, and that's going to be the end of the video. Peace.